What would happen if a person is brought back to life only to lose faith again? What if a miracle meant to restore love became a test that exposed the darkest desire of the heart? This is not an ordinary story. This is a powerful miracle of Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him. A story where a dead man rises with faith, and a believing woman returns, only to fall into disbelief. Stay with us, because this story will change how you understand miracles, desire, and true obedience to Ellah. It is narrated that among the children of Israel, there once lived a man whose wife was extremely beautiful. He was deeply and passionately attached to her, and his heart was completely devoted to her. When his wife passed away, he was overwhelmed with grief. His sorrow was so intense that for a long period of time, he would sit beside her grave, weeping and mourning her loss. One day, Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, happened to pass by. Seeing the man in great distress, Prophet Jesus asked him about the reason for his sorrow. The man explained his story and spoke about the pain of losing his beloved wife. Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, then asked him, "Do you wish that I should bring her back to life for you by the permission of Ellah?" The man immediately replied, "Yes, O Spirit of Ellah, this is exactly what I desire." The first grave. Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, stood near a grave and called out to the one inside it. Suddenly, the grave opened, and a strange and terrifying sight appeared. A servant emerged from the grave, and flames were rising from his nostrils, eyes, and other openings of his body. As soon as this servant saw Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, he proclaimed loudly, "There is no deity except Ellah, and Jesus is the Spirit of Ellah." Seeing this, the man panicked and said, "O Spirit of Ellah, I have made a mistake. This is not my wife's grave. Her grave is somewhere else." Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, commanded the servant to return to his grave, and instantly he went back, and the grave closed as it was before. The second grave. Then Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, turned toward the second grave and said, "O occupant of the grave, rise by the command of Ellah." The grave split open, and a woman emerged, bent from her head down to her waist. When the man saw her, he exclaimed, "O Spirit of Ellah, this woman does not look like my wife." However, by the command of Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, the man was guided to his wife's grave. As the grave opened, he was struck by extreme shock and emotion. The intensity of the moment overwhelmed him. He said to his wife, "Grave diggers, wild animals, and sickness have destroyed me with fear and exhaustion. I need to rest for a while." The woman replied gently, "Yes, you may rest." The man then placed his head on her lap and fell asleep. The test of desire. While this was happening, a prince passed by riding a horse. He was known as one of the most handsome men of his time. When the woman saw him, her heart was filled with desire. Her emotions overpowered her self-control. She slowly moved away from her sleeping husband and, driven by passion, stood before the prince. As soon as the prince saw her, he too became captivated by her beauty. At the woman's request, the prince placed her on his horse and rode away with her. The husband's search. When the husband awoke and found his wife missing, he became extremely distressed. He began searching for her, following her footprints step by step. Eventually, he found her in the company of the prince. He pleaded with the prince and said, "This woman is my wife. Please leave her." Before the prince could respond, the woman spoke and said, "I am not his wife. I am the servant of this prince." Hearing this, the prince said angrily, "Why should I give away my servant?" The husband swore by Ellah and said, "She is truly my wife." An argument broke out between them. The husband explained that Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, had brought his wife back to life after her death. The final judgment. While this conversation was taking place, Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, arrived at that very spot. Seeing him, the man cried out, "O Spirit of Ellah, is this not the same wife whom you brought back to life for me?" Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, replied, "Yes, she is the same woman." But the woman said, "O Spirit of Ellah, I belong to the prince. I am his servant." Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, asked her, "Are you not the woman whom I brought back to life by the command of Ellah?" She denied it. Then Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, said, "The life that was given to you by the command of Ellah, return it instantly." The woman collapsed and died on the spot. The great lesson. Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, then said, "Whoever wishes to see a person who died as a disbeliever, was brought back to life, and then died as a believer, let him look at that strange servant. And whoever wishes to see a person who died as a believer, was brought back to life, and then died in disbelief, let him look at this woman." After witnessing this, the man from the children of Israel never married again. He turned away from worldly desires and devoted the rest of his life to the worship of Ellah until death came to him. Moral of the story. This incident clearly shows the consequences of actions and the wisdom behind the words and deeds of the prophets. The lesson we learn is that true success lies only in obedience, love, and loyalty to the messenger of Ellah, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Even if our hearts hesitate, we must still follow the way of the Prophet, peace be upon him, in every matter of life. May Ellah grant us the ability to learn lessons from such events and to remain firm on the path of guidance. Ameen, O Lord of the worlds.